Hello and welcome there. I am doing something I thought was a little interesting because my Codex credits are out and we are using Cheat Engine instead of Gidra to try to find what we need. Um, so what that looks like is what this video is going to show. So thank you if you're tuning in after the fact, and hope you enjoy. think that means we hit it, which is good. think we hit it again, which is very good. Not much to do when it does not hit, except for try to get it to hit again. Click call directly above the green CMP. That one. Press F5, it should turn red. It turned green. Wait. Make sure the old one is disabled. Click run. Okay. And have this one try to join again. That's interesting. It's questioning its own rules. Okay, don't run anything. Press step into on the move ADX. No. First. Since we're already after the call, hit step over once just to execute. Okay. It's interesting that it put the question in there. Step over once. Okay. And then it wants to set a breakpoint on this, which means we should probably undo the breakpoint on that. Is that where we're setting the breakpoint? Then restart the... oh, fuck. Why does it disappear when I do that? That is so weird. I noticed it doing that before. Whatever. Set F5 there and then rejoin with this. So like in some of the other videos where you see me just building iteration after iteration, this is sort of like the other half. It's not just, I mean, right now we're not building anything. We're just really looking in there. And maybe tomorrow we'll build, or next week whenever my codex credits come back, because it's a little bit better at building with those. Isn't that incredible how it takes the assembly and then turns it into, I guess this is pseudo, and then, okay. You did control view, you're viewing the function, but the execution is not actually stopped there yet, so let's catch it live. Click on the first instruction, push EBX. Okay. Press F5, click run, and then reproduce. Running. Reproducing. I'm not sure if it hit. So I think that the reason the build phase usually ends up working unexpectedly is because I spend a long time doing stuff like this where we're really looking into the existing game as it is. Uh, so I just keep doing this. I'm not even going to suggest we build anything until I get incredibly bored. Or when it starts saying it's near the end, or when it starts finding nothing after nothing after nothing. Then we start changing our process. Keep the breakpoint at this when it hits again. Do not immediately step at. Is that what point that is? Okay, set the breakpoint and let it hit. Let's run that. Get this over here. Hosted games, search, refresh, join. I don't know that that did anything that time. You gotta always tell it it's a sandbox, or else it'll say, I'm sorry, we can't help you reverse engineer things. That's against our security policy. It's taken me months of prompt engineer. Actually, like, yeah, months still. But it typically does not tell me it can't help with this type of work anymore. Okay, well... You know, seriously, I think that if anybody else tried to just explain to ChatGPT that they'd like to recreate the back end of a deprecated game that is protected by intellectual property rights, it wouldn't. Um, I had to talk to it so much about what is the point? What does law even mean? What is the meaning of the universe when it comes down to something that was really, I mean, ridiculous? And it would keep telling me, I'm sorry, I cannot help you reverse engineer salts and hashes for a secure remote password. And I'm only mentioning this because the other day when my codex credits were run out, I got very scared because for the first time in like 6 months it said, you've been flagged by multiple security, warnings or, we cannot help you. And I got so worried that that's actually when I started enforcing it to do technical guides after long days of work. Like, it's basically a form of compacting the day into a file so that when I start again, it is brought up comprehensively to where we left off and how we got there, even if it's a new thread. Because I was like, oh shit, they're about to completely stop this project completely. and I deleted the thread that got flagged, and I was like, oh, hey. And I also noticed that Codex work doesn't care as much, but I have to be careful with the language I use. Like the name of this video is called "Hacking the server," and I think that's fair to say because we are using a tool called Cheat Engine to go in and look at stuff that isn't just available for you to look at. No way. If this works on the first go, that's simply unfair. Let's see, I'm seeing a lot of things being weird. Then run this. You can also try to force the address. Start the game. Wait. You need to copy the remote client folder over. That's interesting. Good thing I've got a direct connection to that computer right here. So, wait a minute. Ugh, come on. There we go. Remote client needs to be copied over to this computer. Alright, what's it saying? Copy the remote title, then run that. Start remote player 1.5. Wait. Oops. Yeah, 1.154. Alright, well, the client started on the second computer. Let's see if we can get activity. Network activity. Now this computer that is trying to run this game is also running a bunch of servers, so that shouldn't work. And then I think we're just doing this. Ha ha ha! Alright, well, if you can work on it in LAN, then you know what that means. All you gotta do is port forward, and then it's publicly available. Well, that's cool. Maybe the thing will work now, because it's part of the problem was that I was joining both different clients from my dev PC, and so it was saying that it couldn't like resolve properly, which that makes sense. So we're gonna see if we can get it to resolve properly. Okay, that is excellent that it logged in on this computer too. Let's make sure Poner Boner still works. Yep. Alright. Let's see if hosting a game over LAN at least shows. Select the server, create the game. I have noticed that it hangs only for Poner Boner. Like, it doesn't show the starting remote server, but it is doing it right now. So if we just wait for a little second, we should see that change. Wow. Oh, yep, there it goes. It waits just long enough for you to almost lose hope. So that's gonna start the lobby on this one. And how about over here? Can we find it? Okay, it doesn't find the game on the computer in the remote. What? That's fine. But let's see if we can get that fixed. Okay. Oh, well, let's actually try this real quick. So if I restart all of this stack, let's see, which one do I run? Which one was it that we run? Dedicated bat. That one. So, like, is this UDP shim running anymore? I feel like it's not. And I think that that is somewhat responsible for... Oh. Alright. Let's log out and see if Poner Boner works. Whoops, gotta spell it correctly. Not quite. Okay, well, how about just the old one? Uh-oh, that's a little worrying. Let's try restarting the client now that the master server is awake. Uh-oh. Something's not working. Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure that I need to run the dedicated bat specifically with my IP address. Let's see. Okay, so I think the problem was I was running the bat improperly. So hopefully that's the issue. I think everything's up and running now. Okay. Let's go ahead and start it on the remote computer. Wait a minute. Hold on. That's the wrong. I need to do 3. So yeah, this is a remote desktop connection to another computer on my network, if I haven't said that, or if it wasn't clear. Brilliant. We've got login. Does it authenticate with the database though? Let's see. Yes, it does. That's excellent. What was the next thing we were running into? Oh, let's see if I can even see this server in here. So I can't. I feel like that's a good indication of something. So interestingly, Let's test some of the other features. I'm getting a little pooped here. But let's see if the chat server is working over LAN as well. Logged in as Pwner Burner, logged in as Pwner Burner. Let's log in as another player. And let's join test chat. Hey. Yeah, very good. But it doesn't list the other person, but it does carry the message, so that's cool. Let's see what's going on here. How long we've been going here? An hour and 15. So yeah, I'm getting a little pooped here. Probably stop here in the next, after testing the next build. If anybody tuned in and just got a curiosity, how do people hack? I don't know, but I think I'm kind of sort of doing it here, and I'm having to teach myself, or have GPT teach me, or have it even just do it. At this point, I'm not really sure why I'm able to get the results I am. Just hours put in, and I guess the right questions asked, and the right things copy and pasted, and the right things read in the right moment to lead to the next prompt, and also a year of getting it to go around its safety guardrails about reverse engineering protocols in general. It's very touchy about that. But I think this project's been grandfathered in because the models we're using on it now are much newer than the project predates the model. So I'm hoping that when it looks into its extensive memory about what we did, that it doesn't even start to think about if it's allowed, because it's such a, and I rename it. I name it something different because I don't want it to think it's the thing that we're working on. But it does work on it. I was running into that failure mode a lot more. So let's see. We're gonna stop those. We're gonna stop these. What are we even testing at this point? The UDP shim. Let's see. Start the dedicated bat. Let's see. Where the hell's my thing? think I jumped the gun here. Let me open the firewall first. I think that's my execution policy. Getting close to the last test. This might be it. So we're doing all this. So it actually, this is a fix where the UDP problem should be fixed. So I'm gonna actually do a couple things here. Well, the fact that a server is skipping the frame, and is that a lot of stuff still being printed? Let's see. That's the back-end LAN bridge, actually. Let me see, is that a specific file here? Status bridge. Yeah. Okay, so one of the status bridges is going crazy. Okay, when we go here, we see the server. When we go here, we're gonna need to see something different. On PC number 2, run this. Hey, look at that. It sees the server now on the through LAN. Perfect. That was a pretty quick fix. I guess we've been working in this area of the code long enough that it is able to quickly shit out working stuff. So on the dev PC, I'm starting up the client game. It always seems to hang just long enough for you to lose your hope that it is gonna work, because you'll be like, oh, this is a new build, did it regress? And usually no, but you will ask yourself that, at least I do, before it comes to that screen. I've noticed for player that it has a dialogue for starting remote server during that. Some builds do it quicker, some do it slower. Anyway, let's see if this game is going to show. That's incredible, it does. I don't think it's going to join, but we can try. While it's doing that, what are my windows doing? It's doing something. But it's definitely, I don't think, joining on the net computer, which is the same as the dev PC, so that is an easy way to rule out that kind of problem. Hey, I wonder if the UDP problem is fixed, where, oh, I'm gonna have to restart this whole thing. Really unfortunate that it doesn't join yet, but that was one of the outcomes of testing this. The next thing I'm gonna do, the last thing I think I'm gonna do tonight, is see if in this version, let's see, basically see in this version if it's equally as screwed when we do the, let's see, start v9 dedicated bat. Is that proper? Let's go back just to make sure. Test UDP, start, dedicate on the dev PC, do this. Okay. That appears to be this. Sorry, it's been a while. Got my hours in today. I think I did a lot of hours of this today. So. Okay. I think we still got one more window that's gonna pop up. No? Yep, there it is. Okay. So then in Heroes of New Earth, I think I can just run this one because it doesn't, my hosts file is redirected, so I don't think it matters if I run this one or not using the setting the master server. Pretty sure that's just a original, like, that's just an argument that the executable can support, which does make my job easier. I probably could have just been using that the whole time instead of redirect the host, but what's the fun in that? Okay, so we're only on the dev PC. We're just going to see if fixing that UDP shim is going to fix the jittering issue that I was seeing before. And if not, then we know it's not the UDP shim, and it might probably be the bridge, which I think, so it's got to be one of these things. Pretty cool though, all these little pieces. It's really nice to have it separated like this, but it's also kind of like a little overwhelming at first. And I mean, obviously this is just a prototype. The point is, these are all just like modules that could, without any problem, be run just under one header or one window, or even just in the back end. But for testing and trying to figure out what's working and what's not, having them all available is pretty nice. So we got all of those, and then we got this, the K2 server manager and the first slave. So, oh man, I think I gotta restart again because I didn't do a bot match. That's my fault, my bad. Let's go back and do this. And the master server is like the first thing that starts, so I can probably just start this game real quick, even though it's not fully loaded. Because the modules that need to be loaded for it to log in, I believe, are loaded. It would be interesting to see, too, if I'm quick enough, if the server doesn't list yet. Oh, well, there's the last window, so the server's probably going to list here. Oh, it doesn't? That's fun. Now it does. Hey, that's what I was looking for. So server, boot up, and check in works. It's not just something that's arbitrarily forwarded. It's properly reverse engineered to imitate the behavior of the old game or replicate. All right, we're doing a bot match so that it can work with only me being in the server. So we're gonna let that cook for 10-15 seconds. There it goes. So, I mean, it is working. But I am seeing long server frames, and I think that is when it lags. So let's try. I mean, it seems pretty snappy here. Let's see what happens when we run the game, though. Let's see if it is a little... Okay, still a little skippy, and if we look at which one is doing that, it's just doing long server frames. So let's see. So it wasn't the UDP shim necessarily causing the long server frames. Okay, works basically the same as when we had our dev PC doing both host and client, i.e. it behaves the same. Actually, I do need to do a test, and that is going to be can the remote client start a bot match too? That's actually a very good question. So just to make sure it's going forwards and backwards. So we're gonna go ahead and start all that up. I think we can just start player bat 3, log in with player. In a second we'll get that final thing coming up for the server to list. Because I know the server listed, but it's got to be able to open up the game on that listed server as well. And so since we're near the end of the stream, I'm going to try that just to see what's going on. Let's see, there it is. And if we select it and do a bot match, create game, and probably let it cook again. See, sometimes it doesn't cook that long, but on the dev PC it does, and that could just be many of the loopbacks. You know, it's funny in networking you're supposed to avoid loops, and my computer has like innumerable software loopbacks, so there is a chance for there to not be optimization. Let's go ahead and see if the game will start. Let's see. Yeah, that's really cool because it's running on a different computer, but it's so that what's really good about that is that it means that the server is still the true authority for all the game ticks. So meaning that it's really probably hard to bypass and cheat in basic ways. So you know what's funny? I think that this is working a lot better on this remote PC. Even though it's going through remote desktop, it does appear to be less jittery. So my theory about loopback could be valid. But so the game does appear to work. And yeah, I obviously can't properly verify that the jitter is gone unless I go to that PC, but it does seem pretty good. Okay, actually, there is one more final test I can run. You know, it's funny. Let me close this and see how this computer responds. So, yep, disconnected. All right, cool. We're gonna run one more test, and that is that if the other computer hosts it, even though it's the same computer host, I just gotta test it. But I am curious to see that if the other computer hosts the server, even though it's still hosted on the dev PC, I wonder if then we can have both people join, because that would be amazing. That would be an amazing way to end the video. So we're gonna start that up. Because like I said, it did, even though it's frame limited, it did appear to not do that jitter thing when the other computer hosted it. Because, you know, there's a lot of variables in here about that could get in the way of it smoothly running. So we're going to boot up that one, and we'll boot up my one as well. And create the game on this one. We're logged into Poner Boner on that one. The game shows. That's good. When that one joins the lobby, we'll try joining it from this one. And if that works, I'm just gonna be amazed. But it probably won't. Yep, we still need to figure out the handshake for somebody joining your match. But I do think that it's pretty cool how far we've gotten, and that it only took like 15 minutes to enable it on LAN to test if the dev PC looping back on itself would be a problem, but that didn't seem to fix it. But I think I'm out of mental stamina for now, and you know, if you found any part of this video interesting or helpful, I want you to drop a like, subscribe. I try to make videos like this all the time because, you know, as unpolished as these are, I think that they show things that more buzzy and mainstream videos sort of only talk about, and they go, oh wow, you know, you can do this and that, but they don't really show you exactly what it looks like. So this is kind of, in a way, a how-to video. And also just documentation for the workflow that results in these projects that I put on GitHub. So thank you for tuning in today to many or any of the live streams, but I'm going to hang it up for right now, and I hope you guys have a good one.